So today we're going to be a little more controversial than usual. We're going to be diving in the question I'm sure we are all asking around the globe right now. What is going on? What's going to happen next? What is happening to this world that we once knew? Well, stay tuned. This is Miranda with more Real Talk, keeping it real. What has really come upon us? What has happened to this nation that we were once free in? We were once happy. Your dreams could be achieved. Anything you wanted to do was right at your fingertips. What has actually happened? Why are there so many trains derailing, chemical spills all in the water, the soil, the air? We're all of a sudden seeing allegedly UFOs, things on the news as well as not on the news. There's legitimately unexplainable things showing up in the sky that none of us has ever seen before. You have the pursuit of normalizing pedophilia. The pursuit of normalizing pedophilia, calling it MAPS. You have gender ideology is being taught to children. There's actually some states that have passed laws for the full-on gender reassignment surgery for kids as young as 8 years old. We have this weird Epstein Island thing going on that apparently all of these celebrities and people in high places have participated in. The pleasure of abusing children sexually. Some of our favorite people we've looked up to is on this list. People have been also seeing two moons and two suns in the sky for quite some time. I believe the latest I dated it back to was about 2020. Now, they're not seeing this consistently in the sky, but it's more so of a sporadic thing that they'll see two suns and two moons, two different sunsets, two different opposite directions. People are also noticing that Africa is literally splitting apart. Why? Is what we're all asking. Why? There's massive earthquakes happening in various places as well as in common places. Famines, diseases, as well as international contamination of everything we need to survive. Water, nutrients, food, vegetables, everything's contaminated in some way. There's a war within the people, within our very own communities. There's so much strife against the next person for being a different color, for having traditional values, morals, and beliefs. To express these things now comes with a price of being canceled, rejected, or just cut out socially, or possibly even financially, depending on how much influence you have. Across the country, we have witnessed different farmers' crops being bought out by the government or burned. I believe the story was if they weren't willing to stop planting their crops, that they were threatened severely that they would either be burned or some other type of repercussions for their actions. Freedom of speech has been getting challenged for at least the last decade or 5 years. I'm sure the math is a lot longer than that. In my opinion, these hypocritical extremists are winning the war to put consequences behind a particular set of words, phrases, questions, and beliefs. You cannot sacrifice truth just because a few people are going to suffer. More and more diseases are showing up. Suicide, depression is at an all-time high, and everybody is offended. Everybody is offended. Ooh, people are now identifying themselves as transracial, as animals. Some are going as far as believing that they are some mythical creature. Our borders are allowing any and everybody to run up in America and run right back out. We have zero border security right now. Zero. Okay? Sex trafficking has spiked. Many people that are committing crimes numerous times in a row are not having any real having any real affirmative actions taken against them to reduce crime. Instead, crime has spiked and is continuing to grow. World War III has technically broke out. None of us still know what's going on. Half of us don't even know who we're actually at war with. Do I need to continue? Do I need to continue? For those in the back that might still be confused, I might need to continue. Do I need to continue? Why is all of this happening? What is the purpose? Is this going to turn around? Is this going to be a change? Is this a rough patch that we're all facing as a nation? Is this a test to see how sovereign we are? Is this a test to see how united we are? What is going on? Will things turn around? I believe I have an answer for you. It's going to be up to you to accept it. The world is on fire and people are dying left and right. As we can see, there has been no age limit on what we've seen recently in the past few weeks of 2023. The young are going out in very tragic and horrific ways. But all of this is happening because we are coming to the end of the age, or we have arrived at the end of the age, however you want to flip that. So Miranda, what does this mean? What does the end of the age mean? The end of what we all know to be true. We're coming to the end where none of us will actually be able to run from what we will be accounted for. A lot more is on the way. The best way I can explain it is that all of us need to brace for impact. Aside from that, Matthew chapter 24, 3 verses 1 says that, "Now as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately saying, 'Tell us, when will these things be? And what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age?' And Jesus said to them, 'Take heed that no one deceives you. For many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and will deceive many. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there will be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. All of these things, all of these are the beginning of sorrows. All of these things that are happening are the beginning of sorrows, the beginning of the end. So I believe the generation we're in right now, we're really ushering towards seeing the build up, the rise, the anticipation of what the end is actually going to be. Not saying that we're going to walk outside tomorrow and Jesus going to stand right there and say, you lost me, you missed me, and rapture everybody up and kabloom this thing. That's not what I'm saying, people. But however, we are seeing these events unfold right before our eyes. Let's not take it for granted. Take heed is what he says. We've had people over the years claim to be the Messiah. The Jews have recently proclaimed themselves a Messiah. None of us technically know what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. What we do know is Biden is constantly sending millions and billions of dollars to Ukraine while the American people suffer. That is what we do know. Now Russia is declaring some type of World War III. China is sending spy balloons over here, infiltrating American and Canadian airspaces. Turkey just had one of the largest earthquakes, and now all of a sudden Africa is splitting apart. It's just so much going on. But we're going to read on. Chapter 24, verses 9 through 14. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and kill you, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many will be offended, will betray one another, and will hate one another. Then many false prophets will rise up and deceive many. And because lawlessness will abound, the love of many will grow cold. But he who endures to the end shall be saved. And the gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all the nations. And then the end will come. Well, folks, that's all I've got today. I'm just playing. But what we're seeing now is the setup of what Revelations was said to come. I'm sorry, what of Matthew was said to come, but I'm going to read some stuff from Revelations in just a minute. But before we get into that, Revelations was written by John. He was in the spirit realm, and I will have a video coming soon explaining spiritual things versus logical things. And it'll give you further understanding of what the Bible is speaking of when you have to use spiritual wisdom or when you have to use logical wisdom. A lot of people get the two mixed up. They never gain understanding, and then they go off with some weak doctrine that they never even, I don't know. But I will have a video coming in the next few days to explain spiritual things and logical things. And you'll understand it when people say things like, I'm in the spirit, or he's in the spirit, because Revelations 4, 1 through 2, this is John talking, saying that after these I looked, and behold, a door standing open in heaven. And the first voice which I heard was like a trumpet speaking with me, saying, come up here, and I will show you things which must take place after this. Immediately I was in the spirit. So he wasn't physically taken anywhere, but because John was who he was and the relationship he had with God, his obedience, his faithfulness, his long suffering, his everything, God was able to show him things to come in advance, things that are happening right now. And the Bible is technically to be considered, it was written around first century-ish, years, thousands of years ago, guys, and we're just now seeing a lot of this stuff unfold. I don't know how much our generation is gonna actually see, but we're gonna see enough. I will tell you that. But yeah, I can't promise you all answers to all questions, but those that need further understanding, I encourage you to just go read the word and ask God for understanding, because he who needs wisdom, let him ask. James 1, 4 through 6. Anyways, so what we're gonna go into now. So we've already read what the signs of the end of the age was, right? And that was in Matthew 24. So now we're gonna read Revelations 6 verses 1 through 17, going through all 6 of the seals. I'll let your imagination and what your best judgment, your spirit of discernment, and what your knowledge of the Bible, whatever level that is, I'll let you guys comment in the comment section of where you think we are right now. Do you think a lot of this has already happened? Do you think we're in the 3rd seal, 4th seal, 5th? You know what I'm saying? I'll give my input after, but I am going to read this for you guys. So the first seal is titled The Conqueror. Now I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard one of the 4 living creatures saying with a voice like thunder, come and see me. And I looked, and behold, a white horse. He who sat on it had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he went out conquering and to conquer. All right, that's the first seal. The second seal says conflict on earth. When he opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature saying, come and see. Another horse, fiery red, went out, and it was granted to the one who sat on it to take peace from the earth, and that people should kill one another, and there was given to him a great sword. All right. Third seal says scarcity on earth. When he opened the third seal, I heard the living creature say, come and see. So I looked, and behold, a black horse, and he who sat on it had a pair of scales in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 living creatures saying, a quart of wheat for a denarius, and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius, and do not harm the oil and the wine. All right. The 4th seal, widespread death on earth. When he opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th living creature saying, come and see. So I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and the name of him who sat on it was Death, and Hades followed with him, and the power was given to them over a fourth of the earth, to kill with sword, with hunger, with death, and by the beast of the earth. 5th seal, the cry of the martyrs. When he opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, until you judge and avenge our blood on those who dwell on the earth? Then a white robe was given to each of them, and it was said to them that they should rest a little while longer, until both the number of their fellow servants and their brethren, who would be killed as they were, was completed. 6th seal, cosmic disturbances. I looked when he opened the 6th seal, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became like blood, and the stars of the heaven fell to the earth, as a fig tree drops its late figs when it is shaken by a mighty wind. Then the sky receded as a scroll when it is rolled up, and every mountain and island was moved out of its place. And the kings of the earth, the great men, the rich men, the commanders, the mighty men, every slave and every free man, hid themselves in the caves and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us and hide us from the fate. Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath has come, and who is able to stand? We're just going over the seals today, um, just because it's pertaining to my actual message for why all of this stuff is happening is because we're coming to the end of the age, or we have arrived at the end of the age, and all we're gonna be able to do is to sit here and witness these things that must come to pass, because this is what God has said is gonna happen. So it has to happen in the order and in the way He said. There is no if, ands, or buts about it. There is no way around it. There's no escape. There's no none of that. It's just straight through. Personally, using my own discernment, my own knowledge of where I think we are right now in the seals, I do believe that we have recently come out of the third seal, going into the fourth seal. If you have further judgment, further understanding, please comment below. Please let me know. Write me a message. We could really get deep into this, because discussing the Bible in general is already, numerous, infinite revelations you can get within its own. But you can also, using logical wisdom, can also get a little tongue-tied in different words, different phrases you may think is one thing, but it's not. So using the logical part can kind of be a little tricky. But going into the fourth seal, I believe we're going into the fourth seal, because it says, when he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature saying, Come and see. So I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and the name who sat on it was Death, and Hades followed him, and power was given to them over a fourth of the earth, to kill with sword, with hunger, with death, and by the beasts of the earth. It just makes more sense on where we are right now. It's so much death going on here, here, here. All of these things are happening faster than what we can see. Faster than what we can keep up with. And it's not that people may be dying instantly, but just watching how people are suffering over time and dying is what makes it crazy. Looking at this whole Ohio thing, it's not gonna be good for them people to be living there over time, and you're breathing in these films. That could be a widespread of death right there, the young and the old. You know what I mean? I don't know if y'all have heard about that the undiscovered land they found in China with all them beasts they talking about over there running around. I don't know, man. You can never really take, at this point, you can't really say nothing is impossible as far as what we're going to experience, what we already know of our earthly knowledge, as leaders and the people in high places. You can't put nothing past these people, because they're just so wicked. If you watch my last video, Christianity's Future, we talked a little bit about how the world is ran by the wicked, literally. So when we talk about different things, even going back to the Ohio thing, that could be a really, really bad situation. Look at how the government is handling it. They ain't. They don't care. They don't care nothing about these people that could be getting contaminated, dying, and getting cancerous diseases. Them people don't care. So ain't no telling what we gonna endure in the end. That's what I'm getting at. Ain't no telling what we really gonna endure. We don't know how people gonna start going out. But from the fourth seal, we could keep an eye out for people being killed by the sword, with hunger, with death, and by beasts of the earth. Take that and digest it however you want to. Break it down however you want to. You know what I'm saying? Pray about it. But I personally believe we're in between the third and the fourth seal. That's where I think we're at. But really didn't even mean to get all that deep on what I was thinking. But just wanting to share my own thoughts of where I think we're at. Y'all please comment below where you think we are in biblical prophecy. What do you think of this video? What are your concerns for the future of this country that we're living in? Where do you think we actually stand as a nation? What do you think is actually going to happen? Is this going to turn around or is it isn't? I personally don't think it is going to turn around, because I know for sure we are approaching the end of the age. That's all I got for this video. Like, subscribe, share, comment with your friends. Stay prayed up, stay safe, and stay tuned for more Real Talk.